Hi there, good evening. You've joined us right here on India Tonight. I'm Taneia Bhardwaj, and we'll start this evening with a story that should have all of us sit up and take notice. There is no room in the country for the intolerant Indian. That's the stern message coming from none other than the president himself. Without referring to the ongoing unrest at Delhi University, Pranab Mukherjee today said that those in universities must engage in reasoned discussion and debate rather than propagate a culture of unrest. While addressing a gathering in Kochi, the president said it is tragic to see the centers of higher education caught in the vortex of violence and disquiet. These strong words come at a time when the capital city is witnessing massive unrest over the secular versus anti-national battle, with political party leaders, sportspersons and even Bollywood actors taking sides. The president's stern message against intolerance is our top story this evening. Tonight on the show, we're really going to focus on the president's message and try and make sense of it, perhaps even read between the lines when it comes to this rather veiled and stern warning. And for that, we've got two special guests who are joining in on the show. Prabhu Chawla, Editorial Director of the New India Express, and also joining in from New Delhi, Times of India Consulting Editor Sagarika Ghose. Both of you, thank you so much for taking time out for us. Mr. Chawla, I'd like to begin by asking you, this is a message without a doubt that at this point resonates with most of us. I'd like to know what you read of the president's message. On one hand, he says that those in universities must engage in reasoned discussions rather than propagate a culture of unrest. At the same time, he says political leaders have to respond, to the concerns of the people. Would you say there's a twin-fold message there?
You're talking about read between the lines. I don't know which lines you want to read between. He has said both the things, because basically our constitution provides freedom of expression. That doesn't mean that expression means that you divide the country. You say a part of the country can be taken away, Azadi for Kashmir. This is not a freedom of expression because you want to divide the country. You speak about it, okay, RSS is a fascist organization, ABP consists of gundas and whatnot. You can talk all that. But you cannot say that use the right of dissent to divide the country. Where is the debate for Kashmir in this issue? Why the Kashmir was brought into discussion in Ramdas College, I don't understand. If you are discussing something about culture of dissent, doesn't mean you start sloganizing about Kashmir. The whole seminar was about culture of dissent. What was about Kashmir there? I don't understand. And why some people, for example, Shahia Ilmi was not invited at Jamia Millia. It is also dissent. So it can't be one-sided issue there. President rightly said it, that it cannot be center for fomenting trouble, violence, whosoever it may be. It may be ABP, it can be SFI, it can be NSUI. There are about 60 student organizations in the country. I was part of the student organization at that time, but we never raised these kind of slogans. Fight was always against for socialism, for secularism, for anti-capitalism, for nationalism, but never raised a doubt about integrity of India. So freedom of discussion or dissent or freedom of expression doesn't mean you start talking about the idea of India. India is one. It cannot be broken into pieces. भारत के टुकड़े करके रहेंगे. This is not freedom of expression, and the president rightly said so.
Mr. Chawla, I just want to say that when I said read between the lines, what I meant was that it was a veiled message, because it's not like you heard the president really directly, allude to what's going on, whether it's in JNU or even the Delhi University. Sagarika, I'd like your thoughts on it. What did you make of it? Would you also say that in a sense, this is a hint to the government that's been made very clear? And I will quote from, what the president said. Leaders and political activists must listen to people, engage with them, learn from them, and respond to their needs and concerns. So is it telling, you think, on the way perhaps the government has also, approached these dissenting voices from our country's premier education institutions?
Absolutely, Taneia. I think the president, who is the first citizen of India, has sent out a very strong message to the establishment. He sent out a very strong message to the regime, which has been silent, which has attempted to rationalize violence by making it into an anti-national and nationalism debate, by bringing in Kashmir, by bringing in all these extraneous issues. You've had government ministers actually come out and open vicious abuse on a 20-year-old girl. She's young, she's idealistic, she's the daughter of a martyr, she's protesting against war. And this is the kind of person that central ministers have actually come out and attacked. Another minister in the Haryana government has actually said that people supporting Gurmeher should go to Pakistan. Now, I think the president is saying, hold your horses, reality check. He's sending out a strong message to the establishment. He is saying violence is unacceptable. Debate, dissent, you want to talk about Bastar, you don't want to talk about Kashmir, you want to talk about this issue, that issue. A university is a cauldron of experimental ideas, but let us not use the currency of violence. We have seen how ABVP activists have threatened faculty. We have seen that the violence that was unleashed was started by the ABVP. The evidence is coming more to light. Whatever it is, whatever your issue, whatever your cause, you cannot use violence in this manner. And I think the incidents at Ramjas College have shown how lumpen our campuses have become and how complicit and quiet the government has been. Instead of a strong condemnation from the government saying we will not tolerate violence, whatever it is, you want to have a debate, kindly debate it in the seminar. We will not tolerate violence, and not rationalize it saying you can't say this, you can't say that, you can't talk about Kashmir, you can't talk about this. There's no menu of do's and don'ts of what you can talk about in a university. This is a university. You know, when I was at Oxford, there were people in the dorm who were calling for the destruction of the British monarchy. Those people are now respected civil servants in Britain. So I don't think you can judge students by what they say and what they don't say. I think what we have seen is complicity on the part of the government, rationalizing on the part of the government, and I think now the president has come out in a very significant statement, in a very strong reminder to the establishment that do not attempt to rationalize violence by using the rhetoric of nationalism and anti-national.
Mr. Prabhu Chawla, how would you respond to that? Has the government somewhere failed us? And again, I'm going to quote from the president. He says, the trust placed by the people in the political system and those elected should not be betrayed. What does the reference betrayal here insinuate?
Quote the president as well. You are quoting selectively. I will also quote him. He's talking about discussion and debate rather than propagate a culture of unrest. Why are you not discussing that? Who is propagating unrest in this country? Who are provoking students to fight for Kashmir Azadi? I have never been to Oxford because I never deserved that kind of teaching from, because I was never born with this silver spoon. I had no facility to go to Oxford. But nobody was killing from across the border of people who were studying in Oxford or Cambridge. People are being killed from across the border, and people are talking about Azadi for those people who are killing our innocent people. I think that girl was speaking her mind, absolutely right, but she was misused. She was exploited because one slide was put in there that my father was killed by war and not by Pakistani. Her father was killed when he was fighting in Kashmir, not in the war. And how these people who propagate liberty of expression are misusing students to fight for their own political ideology. I was a student, president of ABVP. I remember at that time we were fighting SFI at that time, but SFI people, I respect them. There was Sitaram Yechuri, there was Prakash Karat. They never raised these kind of slogans. They never asked for this kind of debate. Oxford may be discussing that, but Oxford was protected by, nobody was killing, no Pakistani or no jihadi was coming to kill them there. It was a peaceful atmosphere. Let it peaceful prevail here also. People are talking about, President has very clearly said that you cannot promote culture of unrest. This is what is happening in early 70s. There was no issue between, there was one idea of India. There were no two ideas of India. You were not talking about dividing India at that time. There was politics of some kind of economic ideology was involved. People were fighting against capitalism. People were fighting for democratic rights in the university management. These kind of things were managing at that time.
Let me ask you, Mr. Chawla, please, let me just ask you a very, direct question. That would you not agree when we say that this message from the president is an attempt perhaps to placate both parties in this, nationalism versus democracy debate? Yes or no?
I'm talking about one thing. Has JNU ever discussed why innocent people are being killed by Kashmiri jihadis? Have they ever discussed it? Has anybody allowed to discuss that there? Tell me, in the last 25 years of JNU, where the Kashmir started in 1990, even one seminar is held in JNU where they discuss how innocent civilians are being killed by gun-toting jihadis from across the border. Yes, we must have a debate. There's no place for violence. What happened in Namjas College, and who were the pictures? You have seen the pictures of the JNU student leader who are also beating other people. Their pictures appeared there also as well. It was a violence from both sides. It is not acceptable. I agree with it. That there's no use of violence. People should be allowed to express their point of view, but it should be on issues which concern India. You cannot bring some issues like Pakistan, like freedom from Azadi for Kashmir. That is not, this is a criminal violation of legal process here. You are talking about disintegration of India. How can you allow? It is not a freedom of expression.
Okay. Sagarika, I have time for just one last question, and I, just wanted to draw the attention to a point that our colleague from Times Now, Srinjoy, was making, that the timing of this statement, would you attach any importance to it? The last time we heard the president come out and say something this stern was right after the beef ban. Apart from his choice of words, did you make anything out of this timing?
Absolutely, Taneia. I think that at the end of the day, whatever subject is being discussed, whether it's Kashmir, whether it's Bastar, I don't think limits can be placed on what students talk about. But I think limits have to be placed on the use of violence. And I think the timing that the president has chosen to come out now at this moment is precisely because we have not heard a single voice from the government strongly condemning the violence. Instead, we're hearing rationalizations. Why are they talking about Pakistan? Why are they talking about Kashmir? Why are they talking about this? We have to first hear a voice from the government saying we condemn the breakdown of law and order. No one has the right to take the law and order into their own hands, whether it's left, whether it's right, whether it's SFI, whether it's ABVP, whoever it is. So I think the fact that violence broke out in such a virulent manner on the campus, the fact that 3,000 students of Delhi University, don't forget, Taneia, have marched in protest against this violence in Jantar Mantar just yesterday, in fact, I think the timing is significant because the violence has escalated to such an extent. Videos are coming out of ABVP leaders openly threatening faculty. A faculty member has been beaten up. He's in hospital. So, and we have not heard a single voice of condemnation from the government saying that students cannot beat up faculty members. So, I think the timing is because of the silence of the government and the silence of the political class in general in not condemning violence and not condemning the way the situation has spun out of control. So, I think the president's weighing in at this moment is extremely significant. Yes. He's sending a very strong message to the political class, particularly to the government. He is saying, let us accept that we need ideas, we need debate, we need dissent. We do not need violence. I think he's making that very, very clear, and I think it should be a warning to the government as well as to the entire political class.
All right, Sagarika and Mr. Prabhu Chawla, I'll leave it at that. The one thing I think that we all agree on is that, yes, as the president said, there's no room on, for intolerant Indians, but at the same time, there is no room for violence whatsoever. Both of you, thank you so much for taking time out for us.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.